everyone, it's Aurea again with Get Celebritized. I am so excited to be here with you tonight because I bring you the best people. I mean, hey, that's my job. That's what I do, right? And it's all about helping you, the entrepreneurs, young and old, and everything in between, how to earn more so you can live more, so you can give back more. If you've known me for a minute or if you've known me for years, you know that my passion and my goal is to help people earn more money so they can give back more to nonprofits and charities of their choice. Because I promised God a long time ago that I wanted to help as many charities before my last breath as I possibly can. And yes, they need our used clothes and shoes and cleaning out of our closets. But I'm here to tell people that nonprofits also need old-fashioned cash money to run. So the more we all make, the more we have extra to give back. So we all know we're praying for the Ukraine. We're praying for the people of Haiti. We're praying for so many people around the world that need us to be successful. So after you're working for your family, you're working for yourself, but there's also other people that other causes and kids and animals and curing cancer, whatever your passion is. Let's help you earn more money so you have so much more to give back. Are you ready? I know you are. All right. So my guest tonight is somebody who I feel is a dear friend of mine. Haven't met her yet in person, but you know what? That's what this audio app of Clubhouse has done. It has brought people into my life that I've connected with and bonded with, and I feel like she's already a sister of mine. We're pretty much on the app together almost daily, and she's a woman in media. She runs rooms on media, and she is a Toronto-based actress who even played Tori Spelling in an Amazon Prime movie, Broke and Famous. She's going to talk about that. She's a celebrity social media influencer with over 26,000 followers on Instagram alone. She is the phenomenal Kris Orticello, a popular talent for hire on the celebrity platform. Wait for it. CAMEO. If you haven't seen CAMEO, you got to see it. And she is on there for personal and professional video shout outs and endorsements. Her savvy extends far beyond the world of entertainment as she is a dynamo at sales and marketing. I hear her strategies almost every day on Clubhouse. She is a marketing and sales professional genius. Just wait. She has harnessed the power of her brand and the media to leverage her voice to empower herself and other women. Kris is a master at inspiring, educating, and entertaining, as well as an amazing, kind person with convictions, morals, and values we're going to talk about as well to see if that has stopped her or if that has helped her in her career. So here she is, Kris. Come on up. Da-da-da.
Hi. Oh my gosh, I'm so happy to be here with you, Aurea. Thank you so much for inviting me onto your amazing show. I'm so honored. Thank you.
Oh, the honor is all mine. You are a celebrity, but you're also a celebrity to all of us who've gotten to know you over in Clubhouse and Twitter Spaces. But you really are a celebrity, an actress. You have a wonderful, wonderful resume, and you do women in media on Clubhouse as well. So you've got a nice, vast variety of success that you have experienced and worked hard for. And we're going to tap into that tonight because the viewers that we have tonight live, also the listeners that will hear us on the podcast when this uploads as a podcast, want to know those nooks and crannies of, okay, wonderful. You started as an actress and a model at age 7, and now look where you are. There's a lot in between. So we want to dive into that a little bit. And speaking of which, you are an actor and model since age 7. You experienced a horrific car accident in 2005 before attending the Grammys. Y'all heard me, the Grammys. And you have strong faith and convictions, which has motivated you to pass on many roles with nudity, blasphemy, and eating meat. These are some incredible points that I want you to expand on, talking from the beginning to you make some hard choices having the faith that you have. We want to talk about that. So tell us a little bit about yourself, pointing on those, and we'll get into the conversation.
I mean, what else can I say? You just perfectly colored it. I mean, that's the nicest intro I think I've ever received in my life. And it was so detailed as well. Oh my gosh, where do I start? You literally touched on so many important aspects of my journey. So thank you for taking the time to do that. I appreciate it. You are incredibly detailed.
It's important. People want to know this, and I just don't bring people on haphazardly and say, "Okay, so give us your tips." You've been through stuff,
Yeah,
and you have your compass and your morals, your values, your experience, and then, like us all, and because you've seen my TED Talk, we get derailed, and your car accident was a derailment, I'm sure. So we can start there. We know you started at a young age pursuing your passion. So what started that? And let's go into that moment when it all almost ended in that car accident.
I love that. First, let's just touch on your TED Talk. I watched it. It was amazing. It is so heartfelt. You are a walking miracle, Aurea, and I'm just so grateful to God for all the ways that he's worked through you and to use what you've gone through to help other people, because you have such a heart. Guys, if you have not seen her TED Talk, go and watch it. It's going to inspire you, and it's going to motivate you, and it's going to make you feel so grateful for everything that you have going on in your life as well. As I was listening to that, Aurea, I was thinking, wow, because we all have tough days, you know, we all go through stuff, but that really seemed huge. So guys, please watch it if you haven't yet. And if you have, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So for myself, starting out at 7 years old, it was my passion to do modeling and to do actually singing. I started, I think, around 12 professionally with singing lessons and acting and all of that. So I had asked my parents to put me in it, and I didn't come from like a lot of money. So it was a bit of a stretch for my parents to do all that, to pay for the lessons and the headshots and everything. But they believed in me, and they wanted me to feel confident. And so I think they thought it was going to be like a phase that would like pass, and it never passed. And then they started to get really worried, like, does she really want to do this? Like, just like, I think we need to start talking her out of it. And no matter how much they talked me out of it, it's just something that I felt really called to do. So I carried on despite a lot of naysayers. And I think that that's a really big challenge that a lot of actors face is, you know, overcoming the people that tell you no, like,
Which
no,
could be your own family and the closest people to you.
Exactly. And I think well-meaning people don't mean harm. I think they just don't want to see you get hurt. And I think
Exactly.
in a place like acting and modeling where there's so much rejection and there's so many auditions that you have to go on, the success rate is so low that I think people just want to pad and protect you. So I did go through that process, and I did stick with it. And then you had asked about the car accident. So in 2005 was the first time I was hit by a car. I've been hit by a car a few times. Yeah.
What?
But that first time was when I was walking across the street. And so
Oh
it
my
was really
gosh.
significant because I was thrown like 30 feet in the air. It took me like 3 years to recover fully from it. Well, not even fully, but like better, much better. And just before that had happened, I remember this being a really significant moment is I was achieving so much on my own. I was pretty well anything I wanted. I was either pushing my way through, bulldozing my way through, or like I almost even want to say manipulating my way through. I was not. I believed in God and I believed in Jesus, but I was not in constant relationship with the Lord, and definitely not in obedience. So even though right now I don't eat meat, and I won't use blasphemy, and I also don't do nudity, there were times where I was borderline nude. There were times where I was definitely blasphemous. There were times I definitely ate meat. So there's been a lot of changes that have happened in my life now that I'm doing to honor the Lord and to be in obedience. And the meat thing just happens to be I watched too many PETA videos. So yeah, I just can't now. Like I literally just visually can't eat meat anymore.
That happened to me too. I had to go back to eating some of it, you know, chicken and fish because of my blood type. But they showed us one of the like a slaughterhouse when I was in 8th grade, and I saw that, and I was like, the minute I turn 18, Mom, I'm not eating meat, and I didn't for 20 years because that visual was in my mind. You all know how much I love animals, but it was that said the minute I'm 18, I'm not eating it anymore. And it's like, oh, but you really have to work on getting your protein from other sources. You can't just not eat meat and not eat anything. Got to be healthy, and I know you are great at that.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, definitely. I do try to integrate proper food choices, but it was the video of people eating dog that did me. And I was
Oh
like,
my gosh,
yeah,
Kris,
I
no,
know. Sorry.
no. Oh,
Maybe trigger warning.
oh my God. Dog is God spelled backwards. Anybody knows me know that dogs are my favorite animal in the
I
world.
know.
They do more for the human race than any other creature. They sniff out cancer. They're policemen. They're in the Navy SEALs. They can do everything. And I know it's different when people have to survive, I guess, in a different country that, you know, they got to eat. But for us, oh my gosh, you just, oh. Anyway,
I know.
well, moving
So
on.
since that, I can't eat meat. But
Yeah.
so there's been a process of God refining me, and being the molder and myself being the clay, and definitely been put through the refiner's fire several times in my lifetime. And I really feel like there are so many pivotal moments, but how God uses those moments through us is really important. So there was a point where I was winning at everything, and I literally had a conversation with God where I felt like I was carrying the world on my shoulders. I was winning at a ton of stuff, but I was also doing so much more than I could actually even um, than I could even handle on my own. Like, I felt the burden, I felt the weight of it all. And I just said, you know what, God, I don't even need you. I'm doing it all on my own anyways.
Yeah, we've all been there. It's okay.
And then very
Being
soon
real.
after, I got hit by a car. And then the Lord revealed to me just how much I really need him. And I had to humble myself. And that humility was not something that I had a lot of in my 20s. And I had to really humble myself and just say, you know what, this is God teaching me something. This is God working through me in this. I need to surrender. And surrender is really hard when you're a control freak.
Mhm.
And so
Hard for
that's
anybody
something
too. Yeah, that's a big deal.
I really had to learn, was surrender, and to be much more in obedience with the word as well.
So what was the biggest thing, the biggest change you had to do? Because you had everything going for you. You were, kind of like on the road to success. And then that happens. And now you surrender to God and know you're going to do things his way. Tell us what the difference was. Did things get really great at first, or did they get worse and get better? So
Way,
tell us what your life's like after you made that commitment. What was the difference?
it got way worse. I got depression. I mean, I was going through all the different things I need to do to heal from the car accident. So I was going through therapy and all of those things. It got really, really bad before it got better. But in that process of becoming humble, I was more sympathetic, more compassionate towards others, where I definitely wasn't before. I was in my me world, in my
Mhm.
ego, and all those things that I just want this, I'm going to get this, and just like bulldoze everybody to get what I want, It was,
It's so hard to imagine that because all I've known you, because I haven't met you in person yet, but just hearing you speak for this whole year, you're so not that anymore. None of us knew you back then. And this kind of reminds me, this is the real you that was underneath that God brought out. Because I don't
thank
think
you.
you can become, just like this amazing, kind person. I was there all along. You were just caught up and I need to be successful and
Yeah.
do my thing. And now it's like, no, there's more to you, is what
Yeah.
God revealed.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I was always a sweet little girl, but I definitely had to, I think I had to create an ego for myself in order for me to compete
That
with a
business.
lot of what's happening in media. And it was to my detriment because I was creating something that was false. It wasn't my true heart, and it was mean. Oftentimes it was mean to
Mhm.
myself and to others,
Yeah.
and it was very selfish. And so I thank you, Aurea, for saying that I'm not that person anymore, because I worry sometimes,
Mm.
even if I'm having a bad day, and we all have bad days, I can like get a little snappy sometimes. I'm like, oh my gosh, I hope that like roaring lion doesn't come back out, because I don't like her. I don't want to be her. And so, but we all have her inside of us somewhere as well, where we have to like, check ourselves sometimes and just make
Mhm.
sure that we are still being kind, that we are still being considerate, and that we're not just thinking about ourselves, especially if we are a little bit consumed that day.
Yeah, and it's okay to have emotion. God gave us all of our emotions. There's times we need to be mad or we're going to snap. That's all good. It's different if you live there, and
Yeah.
that's where you're living every day and that's how you're handling every situation. That's totally different. And you don't do that. So it's perfectly okay to, feel all the emotions that God gave us. That's perfectly fine. So now you're very, very successful now. You just did Amazon Prime, Broke and Famous project, and you played Tori Spelling. So
Yeah.
tell us what it looks like to be a successful actress in the media in that industry, which I left a long time ago as an actress because of all the backstabbing and what you had to do to get there. And I wanted everybody to get the part. So it was so hard for me because I was everybody's cheerleader. And so I wanted everybody to get the part. Full circle, I'm still in the industry, but in a different capacity as a host. So tell us what success is like now that you're doing things God's way.
It's a relief. It's a relief because I think I'm so open about my Christianity that I used to have to turn things down and then be like, well, and make an excuse for it. Now it's just like, it's out there. I'm not going to do that because I'm a Christian. So like, there's no negotiation. I do lose out on things. There's a ton of great roles that I lose out on. One of them was this incredible lead for a vampire movie. I won't say which one, but I was asked to audition for it. And there was the words like blasphemy, like Jesus Christ, but not used in a positive way. It was like
Right.
in the Lord's name in vain. And I knew that this wasn't something that I had the clout to negotiate, and this really is what it comes down to, is certain actors have enough clout that they can negotiate certain things. And I'm grateful for my success, but I knew that this role, I wouldn't be able to negotiate this, because this was going to be an ongoing theme for this character, because this is who she is. This is how she represents. And these dark themes in vampire movies and occultism are things that celebrate these demonic kind of ideas. And it just broke my heart, because I was like, well, you know what? As much as I want this role and this opportunity, I don't want to represent these things that don't honor the Lord. And I know that when I honor the Lord and I give him my obedience, he's going to repay me tenfold for everything. Like it's just going to overflow. So I just have faith in that.
And I love that you're so real, Kris, because you're saying it hurt. Like, it's so hard to do. Instead, like, I'm a Christian, so I just passed it off and it didn't bother me at all.
Don't bother me.
Christians were human. Yeah, you're like, darn it. You really feel that it's okay, because again, you're human. And I love your realism, saying that really hurt. I really would have wanted that part, but I had to stand on my ground. So when you pass on those things, now you have things like this Amazon Prime, Broken Famous. You play Tori Spelling. Tell us, 2 questions I have for that is, do you have to have a special agent in Hollywood and what you're doing to represent you and your values? Or do you use a mainstream one that just knows your yeses and your nos? And how did that part come about, where you're playing somebody who's, very famous, and you got that role?
I had actually just recently come back from Hollywood, and I have an agent. Well, I just let go of my agent. So things happened during COVID. I completely changed management and everything. It's all getting revamped and new. I'm really excited about the newness. I've had that agent for, I believe, 10 plus years. They've been amazing. It's a baby.
Welcome to working at home, everyone.
They were good for when we were together, but there were some things in that relationship that were no longer working. So I made the decision to change some aspects of my team. But at that time, my agent represented me here in Toronto, and I was cast for that here in Toronto. And they often do a lot of castings here in Toronto. So I just had the look, and I think that's really what it comes down to. Oftentimes, if you have the look and then you had the ability
skills
and the talent to match it, then they just match it all up and it's a fit. And sometimes you don't have the look, and sometimes you don't have the talent to match it, and it's not for you, So this particular role was for me. And I've been on stages with Tori on Clubhouse, and I don't know if she knows I played her, and I'm really shy to tell her.
No, we need to let her know. That's our Kris. She played you.
I don't know if she's seen it. I have heard her speaking in a room where she said that the paparazzi was really hard on her when she went through that really tough time in her life. And so I didn't want to add, how do you say it, injury to salt, or salt to
insult to injury.
Thank you. I didn't want to do that. And I don't need to bring myself up in a moment where somebody's feeling vulnerable.
Yeah.
So I just didn't know if it was something that she really wanted to talk about. So I just left it there, because a lot of the show that I was in talks a lot about her hard times, because that's kind of what sells, is struggle, right? We all want to know how people overcame things. Right. We all want to know the drama of things, but to live it is very different than to,
portray it.
Exactly.
So this Broken Famous, is that an ongoing project, or that you're involved in, or if is that a series?
It was I guess a TV movie kind of a thing. I guess that's what you want to call it. So yeah, it was a one time.
Okay, I love that. I can't wait to see it because as I was looking up on you, I was like, oh, she did this, she did that. It's so fascinating because I
Thank
hear you speak
you.
all the time in Clubhouse, and I hear your genius, and you and I are always on stages talking about media and thing. Then when you really look into something like, oh, she did this and look at that, and I was like, oh, this is fun. So I'm gonna watch all your good stuff. And I'm glad you already answered the question of kind of like, what did you regret? What have you passed on? Was that vampire one your biggest regret, or is there another
I
one?
don't know if it's a regret.
Not
I
a
don't know if
regret,
it's a
but
regret
wish I could have
because
done type of
yeah,
thing.
I think I would have regretted,
You regret doing it
disobedient.
more.
Yeah, being disobedient. I think I would have regretted that more.
Mhm, for
But
sure.
there's been a lot. There's been a lot, Aurea, that I've had to turn down, like really good, juicy, really well-paying roles, and it is frustrating for agents. I think when actors have a lot of restrictions because it's like
Come
it's a
on.
lot already to get auditions, especially
Yeah.
when you look a certain way. Like I have a very specific profile, so it can be challenging to begin with, and then you add on all of these other stipulations, but the right roles are going to come to the right person. And I truly believe that my relationships with people and the talent that I have and um, the training that I have, all of those things are going to add to my career and my life, and that the right roles are going to come to me at the right time because I'm going to be able to service them the best. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I just don't worry about the regret thing. It hurts in the moment,
Yeah.
like to have to turn something down, but I just know better things are coming.
Absolutely. And our faith, because I've the Christian faith you have, is when we make those choices, not regrets, we know we're doing it for eternity. We know we've
Mm,
got bigger blessings coming our way.
yeah.
And like you said, it hurts for a second, wish you could have done it, but then God gives you something so much bigger and better. Like, oh my gosh, I'm so glad I was available for this. Because when we're faithful, God's saying, good job, and then the bigger something comes. And I just always in this industry, it's not an easy industry, and I can see your agent. That's why I asked, do you have a special agent for that, or does it frustrate your agent because I know they want to get paid? Go out, get those jobs, and you're turning them down, and that can be frustrating in that industry. But I'm so glad you stick to your guns and you're in that business the right way for you. But it's not your only business. You're also an amazing entrepreneur and a businesswoman. Let's talk a little bit about how you are successful and how you earn your income now, to give some advice to the women and the young girls that are out there trying to pivot and make a living now in the business world after this pandemic, everything kind of taken lefts and rights and all sorts of winding roads. What are you doing now that's full time, or are you acting full time? But I know you're in business and media and branding, and you've got other things on your plate. So talk to us a little bit about that.
So for myself, Aurea, I believe 100% in diversification. I never put all of my eggs in one basket. I am a big believer in investing, and a lot of my time goes towards making proper investments. And
Like
I
what?
also real estate. I care a lot about real estate.
Okay, good,
Yeah, I
good.
care a lot about real estate. And I think one of the things that makes me really successful in that area is I have taken the time to take lessons and learn from mentors. And I think that if you don't know something before you get into it, you're going to have a lot of challenges being successful. And if you don't have someone to kind of hold your hand through that period, then you may also experience more challenges because you might have questions and you might need someone to
Right.
ask.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It reminds me of, in your acting, you would never go out. And of course, there's an exception to every rule. People can get lucky, but you wouldn't be an actress and not be trained. Yes, you can have natural skill,
Mhm.
natural, whatever you need, but there's always training involved. You always need a coach. You always need a manager. You always need an agent. There's people you need in your life. And it's the same with education. We don't just turn 5 and then we just make it through life without any education. We go to kindergarten, first grade. We're blessed and privileged with that in this country for sure. But not everybody gets an education. So I'm glad you said that, because jumping into anything blindly wouldn't be a smart idea when
Mhm.
somebody has always gone before you. And I always say, take advice from people who are where you want to be in that space. Like we take spiritual advice from our pastors or from somebody who has that wisdom and guidance. We take real estate advice, somebody who's crushing it in real estate. I'm not going to, my cousin, whoever, who's wishing to do it too. It's like, get that coaching mentorship. So talk to us a little bit more about what that's done for you, because I so believe in coaches and teachers and mentorship.
Absolutely. Just going to give you a warning. My stomach is growling like crazy. So if you hear like an angry bear, it's my stomach. I'm like, "Roar."
Oh, I can interview your tummy too. So, what do
Me
you
and my
like to
stomach would like
eat?
to say hi.
Hi, little hungry tummy. I love it.
So yeah, I really believe in mentors. I think it's really important that whatever you're in, you should find them. And I also think that, like I said, you should definitely diversify your portfolio, whatever it is that you do. If you're interested in being an actor, go get training to be an actor. Learn from the best. I love Strasbourg. I've been learning with
Oh, Lee
Strasbourg.
Strasberg,
Yes,
yes, New York City.
especially over the
Been there.
pandemic, it's been really important to me to stay sharp. Because it's been very challenging as an actor throughout the pandemic. I also have a marketing company where we do marketing videos. So we do like little mini commercials for small and large brands. We do cameos. We do memos. We also
Tell us
do.
about that.
Mhm.
Tell us about those those cameos are so cool. And you're passing over this, and this is really fun because a lot of entrepreneurs watch or listen to this show. So what you do is so good for them to know. So everybody listen up because Kris does something that is amazing. Go for it, Kris.
Thank you so much.
I
So the
really love it.
cameo videos are two different types. There's just a regular cameo, which can be like, "Hi, wishing you a happy birthday. This is Kris from Broken Famous, and I hope you have an amazing day." It can be something like that. It could be an anniversary, or it could even be a pep talk. I did pep talk for an amazing, incredible. What would you call it? Words are not coming to me. Anyways, organization, we'll call it an organization, and they inspire young women who are going through trafficking, and they help them through that process. So I did an incredible pep talk for them, and that just made me feel good. It's just incredible, like the amount of people that come in and they ask for different types of videos depending on what kind of inspiration they need. And then there's the other side of Cameo and Memo, which is the marketing videos. So a company could hire me to promote their brand or to promote their company. And so then I just basically have them fill out a script with what they want me to say. And then I go ahead and say that for them, and I endorse their product or service. So that's
Kris, I
really
think
exciting.
that's so great because you know how if you're like a VA or you've got some of these tactical skills, you go to Fiverr or Upwork and you can get some freelance work. So let us know on two ends of this. One, if somebody wants to hire you and tap into that because they want you to do an endorsement for their business, tell us how to do that. And two, if people are watching and listening and they'd like to be the talent like you are, what do they need to do?
They need to apply to Cameo if they want to be the talent. And Cameo has like two ways that they do it. They either scout, or if you apply, then their credentials are pretty high. You have to be someone that is known, and you have to have a certain amount of followers. They basically need to know that if they're going to put you on the platform, that you're going to have fans that are going to want to hire you and use you for your services.
Okay.
So it does have to be through that process.
Great.
One other process is through referral. So that's when they look for you. So I've referred a few of my friends who are celebrities to be on Cameo, and they've been enjoying the process. It's money as well. So, and you can set your own rates, which is amazing. So
I love Cameo. It's so fun. At least looking at it. When the pandemic first started, I saw, all the different celebrities on there. They got all the different price ranges and what they could do to say happy birthday to you. You got big A-listers as well as, in the middle and all. And now you're saying we got the ones that are business mentors and pep talks. I think it's great. It's kind of like the Fiverr for, the media and for celebrities. I love that.
absolutely.
And so, yeah, I love that. So if somebody was to hire you and they would look for you and say, oh, I want Kris. So how do they find that?
They just go to Cameo, they go on the app, and they just type in my name in the search bar, and then that's how they find me. And then they just hire me to do their video. They put in what they want me to say, whether it be a birthday or if it's personal or if it's for their marketing video. And of course, we already know that I don't do blasphemy. I don't eat meat.
And she ain't going to be naked. So don't be asking her to be naked.
No matter how much you pay me.
That is not on the table. And she won't endorse
it.
and she won't endorse any meat products, so don't ask. So this is great. Life can be so much easier when you know your hard and fast life or death rules that these are the lines that I will not cross. It makes your yeses and your nos simpler. Instead of it's kind of like if you don't stand for anything, you'll fall for everything.
Yeah.
Because you really just don't, well, I guess I could do that. Well, if the money's right, I'll do that. Don't be ashamed. I'm talking to the viewers and listeners to stand for whatever it is you stand for. Because if you've watched my TED Talk, at the end of my TED Talk, I talk about when you know what your legacy needs to be for your own personal self, then that makes a difference in how you answer every question in life that comes your way. You will have a clear way to judge whether it's a yes or a no or a hell no, excuse my French, but it's that type of no, this is my line. This is the legacy I want to leave. Because of that, your decisions can be so much easier. Not
Absolutely.
that we want to have hard decisions, we always do, but that's when the mentors come in and your funny mentors that have that same compass as you do. We can always find the answer we want if we go searching for down that road. Let me ask that person because they're going to say yes to something you want to have to say no to. So, got to be smart. And you are so smart. And I love this. So, Kris, what is your best business advice? You've been through a lot. You have, you're in this very difficult industry to most people: media, acting, branding, endorsing, all this good stuff. You've got some good business advice inside you because you do it all the time on Clubhouse. So, give us your best business advice to somebody that might be struggling after this pandemic to get back on their feet.
Whatever your vision is, just stick to it. It's going to be hard. There's going to be times where you're going to fall. Just get back up every time. Just get back up. It's not always going to be easy. It's not always going to look like the vision that you have in your mind when you see yourself winning. There's going to be times in between that may not feel like you're even going to get there. It may be that that ball is so heavy to push up the hill, but I'm telling you, once you get it to the top, it's going to gain its own momentum, and it's not going to take as much time or effort because it's going to be on autopilot, because you will have done it for so long, and you're going to have so many relationships and people supporting you. So just keep on trying. Don't give up, and just know that if it is part of your purpose, God will help you to see it through. He will help you to see it to pass. If you are helping other people in that process, it's going to happen a lot faster for you.
Oh, such good advice. Because, people are in business because they solve a pain that people have, whether you're selling chocolate and you're solving the hunger pain that you have right now, Kris, or whether you're selling, health and fitness and nutrition or skincare or glamour or whatever, you're solving a pain that your demographic has. So you're not really selling, you're inspiring, educating, informing, and getting that word out. And I'm a big supporter of don't do it alone. And that was my goal this year, January. And I came on Clubhouse and said, I am not liking being a solopreneur. These last 2 years of not being able to do my events and hug people and have people around me, and so I support them, they support me, is for the birds. Thank God for Clubhouse, where I didn't feel alone in that way. But it was time to get up, get out, and partner and collab in a big way. So it takes so much less effort when more people are pushing that boulder up that hill.
Exactly.
And I love that. And that's exactly what I did. So team up, partner up. And that's why I love you and the Molly Dare, and all our friends on Molly, shout out to our Molly Dare, because we support each other, and we have each other's back, whether it's we're having a bad day or we're dealing with kids or we're dealing with, today was just not good. I'll see y'all tomorrow. And we all know we're praying for each other, and really praying for each other. Yeah. So don't do it alone. I love that. And it does get easier. You got to work. It's a 4-letter word. So on that,
I never heard of it like that.
Work is a 4-letter word. But the problem is, so many people right now want to work. They're saying, I've got gifts, I got talents, but my job is no longer relevant after the pandemic, or my brick and mortar closed down. I don't know how to do technology. So I really feel a passion to really help more people pivot well. And my advice is find somebody who's doing what you're doing in this new day and age and killing it, and call them.
Yeah. And I mean, even just listening for free on all of these great Clubhouse rooms, and trying to find out what your purpose is by finding out what interests you the most, and what you feel called to when you hear certain things being talked about, I think is a really great way. And then there's so much detailed advice as to how to that you get from Clubhouse. And maybe one of those people is also a coach, and you can get them to mentor you. So many people have incredible services as well on Clubhouse, aside from the free advice that they offer. So I really feel like, you and I and so many of our friends are huge advocates of Clubhouse, because we know how much it's touched our lives. And we're not getting paid to say this, guys. No, at least I'm not.
We should be. We should be. Now, wait a minute. This is what you do for a living, Kris. You endorse. Let's call Clubhouse.
Yeah. Aurea and I have a proposition.
Yeah, we do. We're talking about your Clubhouse. We're fans.
I love it. Yeah. I mean, it's changed our lives, right? For the best.
It really has.
Yeah.
I would have never
So
known you, and I've hired several coaches from Clubhouse, and I've been hired by several of my best clients from Clubhouse because I'm a big believer in the power of the voice. That's why I have this podcast and this show, and I believe everybody that's in business can be doing some type of voice
yeah.
advertisement, whether you're on, any of the audio apps, whether it's Facebook or Twitter. We have Twitter Spaces now. We've got LinkedIn's about to start one. We've got the Firesides and just Wisdom, all of them, and Clubhouse and podcasting. And I tell my clients, you don't have to be a podcast interviewer like I am, because many people are like, oh, I could never do that. And many people shouldn't. It's not like you're an actress, Kris. Not everybody should be an actress. Everybody wants to be, the go to Hollywood and be a star. But there are the majority of people that don't ever have the talent to get good at that, to be, the Meryl Streep, to be the Kris Orticellos. But, good talent can be nurtured into that, of course.
Thank you for putting me beside Meryl Streep, by the way.
I'm not stupid. I know this. You could be playing her when she starts her life story.
Cool. Oh my God. Imagine, oh my God, Aurea.
Put that out there. You should play Meryl Streep.
I receive it. But that would, I'd really have to sharpen. I mean, wow. How many Academy Awards does she have? I better start working on that now.
I think so. Yeah, see, that's from God's ears to your ears. There you go.
I receive it. Thank you, Jesus.
Well, I was going to say, what's your dream role? I think we just figured that out.
I mean, yeah.
Meryl Streep.
I mean, I never really thought about that, but now that you mention it, yeah.
You have to look.
Who gets to play Meryl Streep has to have the chops, because I mean, she is it. Like, she is it.
I love
She's
that.
the gold standard.
Oh, yes, of course. And I completely forgot what I was talking about because Meryl Streep just derailed my thoughts.
That's the fact she has.
It is. Oh my God. Oh, that's what I was going to say. So if you're not an interviewer and it's not your jam, you could do a podcast and educate. Because I believe every entrepreneur, every business owner needs to educate their demographics on their product or service. So there's no reason why they couldn't start a podcast, make it 15 minutes of just edutainment. They educate and entertain. And entertain doesn't mean they have to be like I said, a Robin Williams or a Jim Carrey or an Oprah. It's making it fun to watch, making it interesting, making it a little different, making it good quality, clear, crisp, great backgrounds, and educate. I don't care if you do finances or real estate or a massage therapist. Get out there and edutain people. And we all, from the softest spoken person to the most outgoing, has a demographic, because the outgoing ones, like me, I talk real fast. I'm excitable. I could be too much for somebody who wants to listen to somebody more soft-spoken say the same thing that I would be teaching them, but in a different way with a different voice. So every voice is relevant. And I just try to give courage to everyone to let your voice be heard. Tell us what you got. And again, that's why we love Clubhouse. We get these stages full of so many different personalities, and that's why we can be on there for hours, because it's such goodness. We hear everybody's ideas and their thoughts and their different tone of voice, their different personalities. It is incredible. We really should be getting paid for advertising Clubhouse tonight.
I know, right? The more we think about it, we've got to find ways. We've got to find out how we can approach them about this.
Yeah, I think so. So with that, with your dream role being, of course, Meryl Streep, do you have another dream role that you've been thinking about? You'd always love to play this person. And Kris, what is your legacy? So those two. First, what's your dream role? Then let's talk about your legacy before we close.
Well, I love Marilyn Monroe. And I've always had this idea of a remake of How to Marry a Millionaire. And because now a millionaire is just kind of like $10,
I need to be a billionaire.
That's right. How to Marry a Billionaire. And I would love to play Marilyn Monroe's role. So yeah, that's what I would love to do as a dream role. But I mean, it's not even written yet. So
that's all, we can get it written. You need to stay on it though, because the best roles that actors get are ones that, like the Tom Cruise, they get the license to the Mission Impossibles, then they start writing the scripts. You got to get in early, because that competition would be stiff for sure. So get in on it, get the writers, you know how to do this, get the right people. Again, it's asking for the help, getting the right people, the mentors, the coaches, that you say, okay, I want to make sure that I'm in the running for Meryl Streep, her life story, and for the Marilyn Monroe, How to Marry a Billionaire for the new times, so get in there and start, making it happen.
But I think I probably would want to play like her. I wouldn't want to copy Marilyn Monroe. I just would want, I can't remember the character's name. That's probably the first step, is to remember the character's name. What was her character's name? Oh, now I can't remember.
Okay, Google, hold on.
Yeah.
Hold, please. While I look this, I know. Well, I looked this up,
With the
Kris.
J. Is it like Jeanette or?
I'm gonna look it up. But while I look it up, tell us what I ask every guest as we close up. How do you want to be remembered? Give us some nuts and bolts where you're living this life, you're making these wonderful choices, these good goals, and you're going to get to the pearly gate someday. And God, I know, is going to say, "Well done, thou good and faithful servant," and you can enter in because you've made. We're not perfect, but He knows our heart. He knows we're trying to make the best decisions we can with the book that He gave us to live our lives by. So, what does your legacy look like?
I want to be remembered for being a kind person, someone who made other people feel empowered and that they were valuable. And I want my legacy to be to help people to get their mind off of whatever troubles they're going through, even if just for a moment through entertainment. And I think that that's a really important legacy. It's not brain surgery, it's not saving the world, but it might actually save a life if somebody can get their mind off of something that's really troubling them. So it's not the same as a brain surgeon, but in a way it does help shift your mindset by distraction.
I love that. That's so good.
Thank you.
And now I have the answer to your question. Marilyn Monroe's character's name was Paula de Beauvoir. Paula Pola was her character name.
Really?
How to Marry a Millionaire. Yep. Paula.
They must not mention her name very often in the movie because it doesn't sound memorable.
Lauren Bacall played Shotzi Page.
Shotzi sounds way more memorable.
Yeah, no, me too. And Betty, and now I'm going to have to go watch the movie again. It's been decades since I've seen it. Betty Grable played Loco Dempsey. Yeah,
I've seen the movie probably somewhere in the area of 10 times, and I should know her name by now, especially if it's like my dream role.
Well, yeah, if it's going to be your dream role, you better get it together there, Kris. Okay.
We're going to rename her anyways, okay?
I love it. I love it. Oh my gosh, Kris. Lastly, tell us your best, let's have one more best tip of advice for the entrepreneur that is crushing it, that wants to get even higher, because I know you're doing a lot of really big things. So give us another piece of advice for those who are already killing it. They want to kill it even bigger.
Help other people get to where they're going, and 100% you're going to get to where you're going. You're going to be lifted up by people that you lift. So just think of others and just stay trained, stay really sharp at what you're doing, so that when you get there, you're ready. Stay ready.
School is never out for the pro, is what I always say. And you hit the nail on the head. What a great way to end this episode, because I always say we're in this line. People are starting, people are behind you, people are ahead of you, and then there's people in the middle that are your peers that are right at the same level. And those who are behind us, we need to reach back and help, because we're all there at some point. And the ones ahead of us are the ones we're hiring as our mentors, our coaches. Be real clear the people you're hiring for mentors and coaches are ahead of you, where you want to be, not just talking about it or looking pretty on, social media. And then you said it so perfectly. You get further ahead by helping those that are behind you in not that they're lesser, they're behind you in the journey.
Even people that are ahead of you need help, and I think that sometimes we forget that, like the art of reciprocity. There are so many people that are way ahead of us that still need a hand in some capacity, even though they may look like they've got it all together and they're doing so well. They're not without struggle. They're not without pain.
You make such a really good point, Kris. So I'm gonna put this out there into the airwaves, that if you are a person that is, you've been crushing it, you've experienced great success, and all your social media still exudes that you are just killing it. But maybe the pandemic, which we're all in this together, the beauty of the pandemic, it really leveled a lot of playing fields. Everybody can really, come out and say, hey, I'm struggling.
Yeah.
I had this great success, but I'm just not really killing it right now. And I'm going along with the motion. It looks like I'm still business as usual, but I've really hit a hard spot in my career. And I challenge everybody to open up to the right person. Maybe you hear somebody talking about something that resonates with you, and like, oh, I wish I could ask them, but then they'll know I'm not doing well. I challenge everybody to, reach out to somebody that that you can trust. Say, hey, I need some help. You don't have to announce it to the world, but find someone that you can say, hey, I need to talk. I need to run this by somebody, or I need some business advice. It's not always somebody's going to charge you for that. Sometimes you can go to SCORE and get a mentor, maybe somebody anonymous that doesn't even know who you are. So if you don't want to get back to the, your community, but there's no shame in needing help because we all need help at all different levels of our life.
Absolutely.
It's not a millionaire, billionaire doesn't need help.
I love that. And I love that your heart is to serve in so many different capacities. Like you would just like doing so many things and you do them all so well with so much grace, so much compassion, so much love, and so much thoughtfulness for others. You're always putting others first, and you're always thinking about how you can add to the lives of others. You reached out to me like, how can I help with your Women in Media Club? Like you were one of the very first people to reach out to me. You have such a heart, Aurea, and your talent is through the roof. Like, I mean, you're an Emmy award winning storyteller. Like, it's just such an honor for you to have invited me on here. And I just want you to know from my heart how much it means to me that you spotlighted me in this way. And I just want to let you know how much of a star you are and how much it means to me. So thank you.
You're so sweet. Can I just travel around with you all day long?
Sure.
Thank you. I have one thing I tell people that one of my favorite things of having the podcast and the show is to get to know people more, because you and I know each other like in groups and we're in rooms together and that. But when you do a podcast and you really do an interview with somebody, you get to know them. Then you really become friends.
Yes.
And then before you know it, you might be doing business together and helping each other and just bonding in a bigger way. So I love that part of the podcast. So
it's so nice to see your face too, because I hear your voice and I love hearing your voice, but it's so nice to actually see your face too. And maybe one day we'll actually be able to hug in person.
We will, because I get real jealous when I see everybody hugging Chris and hugging up. I'm like, wait a minute, I want to hug Chris.
I get jealous too. I get so much FOMO.
I know, me too. So we'll just have to have this they're having a big, gathering, I think, in New York City tomorrow for some of our local friends. Come on, I want to go, but we will. Our time will come. It's all good. It's all good. So meanwhile, Kris, you are already living your legacy. You are a kind person. You are amazing. You're such an example of success. And I hope everybody reaches out to you. And I'm going to put your website up. Is there any call to action you have right now for people? I know they can go to Kris Orticello, which is Kris with a K, and then ORTICELLO.com to reach out and see what you're doing. But do you have a particular project that you want people to know about, to reach out to you and connect with you?
They can just reach out for my CAMEO stuff right now. We are working on projects. I'm actually producing for the first time in 15 years. So this is like a big thing for me. And I'm really kind of nervous about it, but it's a pretty big project and I'll be able to talk a lot more about it soon. But definitely reach out to me through CAMEO if you want a personal message done, or reach out to me through my website. And also please check out Aurea's TED Talk if you haven't done that yet. You'll be so happy that you did. She is just an incredible storyteller. You did not skip a beat the entire time. I was just like, oh my God, like you're an amazing storyteller.
Well, thank you. And that was a memorized speech from my speechwriter, because it was the first time I had to do a memorized script in probably 30 years. I used to do shows and musicals, and I'm like, my brain after chemo and after menopause, I'm thinking, does my brain memory still work? Because everything I do is unscripted. I host live TV. I do everything. I speak unscripted. I host, events unscripted. Now I had to memorize a script that, even though it was my story,
that's a lot of copy.
It was like 7 pages. Yeah. And I'm like, so I was really nervous. Talk about school never being out for the pro, stepping out and doing something that you're not sure you can do. And I was like, okay, brain, don't fail me. And I had my system of how I did memorize all my shows, and I did leading roles and anything goes and soap operas. So I knew I had it then, but do I have it now? So for all my women,
you've got it.
So all my women friends, you think you're over 40 or 50 or menopause or chemo or anything that's happened to you, you can still do it. And I memorized it. And then when I walked out on that TED Talk stage, walked on the red dot, I literally drew a blank. I mean, it just kind of left me.
And didn't notice that at all. It was
thank you.
Perfect and flawless.
Then I said the first line. And then I realized I had a photographic memory. The pages just came back to me because there's no teleprompter, but the teleprompter was in my brain, and I saw the pages. I even saw my highlights, and it just came back to me. So that was a God moment too, where I just prayed, God, just give it back to me, because it all kind of like happened so fast. That red dot just staring me in the face. And it's like, okay. So I just give people hope that you do what makes you nervous. Do what gives you butterflies. Be prepared. There was nothing short of me prepping for that. We can't just, I'll do okay. There's times where you really have to prep more. Like you prep for your projects and for your producing and for your acting. Got to do the work, and then God does the rest. He lifts you up when you need him. He's awesome. We do our part. He does the rest, and his rest is so amazing.
Amen.
So amazing.
Amen.
So thank you for that. Thank you for that. Well, Kris, you are a joy. I'm so glad to be here with you. This is so much fun. And I just can't thank you enough. Kris Orticello, people, get to know her, get her cameo. She's amazing. Follow us both on Clubhouse. If you haven't already, get over to Clubhouse. Just look up our names. We are there. We run media rooms, celebritize your business rooms. It's so much fun. So we'll be calling Clubhouse later to get our endorsement pay. But Kris, thank you so much. And from everyone,
Love you, Aurea. Thank you.
Thank you. From Get Celebritized, you know the drill. We're here to help you earn more so you can live more, so you can give back more, living your greatest legacy. Tune in next time to Get Celebritized with more guests, helping giving support, inspiration, and great stories for you to make it even a better life for yourself. So this is Aurea signing off. Have a great night or day, wherever you are in the world. Mwah! See you next time. Bye, everyone.